Okay, I'd like to call the order the Finance, Legal, and Audit Committee meeting for Tuesday, February the 18th. Roll call, please.
Miller.
Here.
Delar.
Here.
Marcier.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Mensch.
Here.
Cahill.
Here.
Veragry.
Here.
Rolfs. Mayor.
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Any public comment? We have one to the podium. Make sure the mic's on too, would you please? Okay.
Can I move it over a little bit?
Yeah, you can move it wherever you want.
Okay, easy. Just don't want it right in my face.
Sure.
Okay, I'm here just to clear up some accusations, also some non-truths and some social media bullying I've been dealing with this week. If you look back at all the meetings from the minutes of every meeting I've been to, I've not one time asked for any compensation for the damage to my building. All I have ever asked for is the JCPenney building issue to be fixed so it does not continue to damage mine. At every one of those meetings, it has been brought up and I have been told in front of council, my problem will be addressed. It has yet to be addressed. The interior of mine can be fixed, but with the problem not being addressed, my issue will continue to worsen. It is not fair to me as a business owner in this town to knowingly be having damage done to my building by another building and nothing being done. I am an established business in this town that pays my taxes, liquor tax monthly. I don't believe that what is being done or not done is fair to me as a person or a business owner. All I want is to not have to get up in the middle of the night when it starts raining and run to the bar to make sure it's not raining inside. Not only causing damage, but one location it rains in is right over electrical. So that's not good, and that would not be on me. With that being said, I had the roof inspection done on January 2nd by Langlois Roofing in Kankakee, per my insurance company. And with that inspection, my roof is 100% not the issue. I also had another city inspector from a different town look at the wall that's falling onto my roof. He also stated and agreed that the back plaster on the JCPenney building was not done correctly, that there was never any wire mesh put on the brick to hold the back plaster in place, therefore causing it to fall on my roof as the bricks continue to deteriorate. So the accusations that one city worker had made that I did the damage myself can be squashed, hopefully, with that. The roof of the Pennies building is not the issue, which I have mentioned at every meeting also. The issue is the wall. Numerous people have stated to me that with the large cracks, bricks missing, and holes big enough you can see completely through them now, that when water runs down, it finds a way into my building, hence causing the rain effect inside. It has now gotten worse to the point it comes in on the north end and the south end of my building. So clearly with a roof that falls north, the roof should not be getting water on the south end with it coming in another way. If it was any other building causing damage, that person would be responsible. And the $13,000 cover that you put on the other roof, I don't know what that is going to do for me, if anything. Am I going to end up with more runoff or more issues because of that cover? And what happens if a larger piece of backplaster falls onto my roof and actually does damage to my roof, or worse, caves in part of my roof? Who's responsible then? I've worked in this building for 27 years. I have owned my business over 15 years, and honestly, due to all this ridiculousness, I've considered and thought about just being done, like completely. There has been 35 years since this building has closed where it was actually a business, and for someone to come and try to save the building, no one has until it was time to tear it down. I was also stated by someone that I need an estimate. Well, I've tried to get an estimate. No one will do an estimate on someone else's building. They'll do one on mine, but I don't have an issue, but they will not do an estimate on someone else's building. And to close, I'm now giving verbal notice that as of March 1st, the JCPenney/Opera House building will no longer have access to my staircase. I feel it being unsafe for my property with people being in and out of that building, and even at few times leaving the front doors open for anyone to go in and out, to which I had to call the non-emergency number because the doors were left open. I do not feel that it is safe. I do not believe that anyone needs access to my attic where my cooling units are, and also roof access and potential access into my bar.
Hey, Mary, can I ask you something? Okay, you had Langlois Roof.
Inspect my roof.
Did they
yes.
prepare any type of?
I have an inspection, yes.
Okay,
I don't have it with me, but
okay,
I have an inspection, yes.
And then you said another city inspector. Would
I
he
had
be
a city
willing
inspector
to?
from a different town come and look at it, yes.
Would he be willing to write something up for you?
Possibly, yeah. I can
Okay.
talk to him.
Because now I'm thinking, and you need to tell us, do you want us to file a formal claim with our insurance company?
I mean, something has to be done.
Okay. And to me, if you can get that, that's going to do nothing but,
Yeah.
give supplemental information.
Right.
The only thing is if our insurance gets involved, if they do a private adjuster, which,
Right.
they do all over the state,
Right.
we'll probably have to have permission to get up there.
Right. I mean,
So
I
is
have,
that
I have
doable?
pictures that were just taken the day of the inspection of the holes in the walls, the cracks, the bricks missing, the holes that go all the way through the
Not
firewall.
arguing with you at all on that, but our people
Okay.
would probably want to get up there. Is that something that you can give?
Yeah, I mean, as long
Access
as
to 'em?
I would have David or somebody go with them, but yes.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay. Kathy, I guess what I'm thinking is when we get your materials, then we can do a formal claim.
Okay.
Do you know if there was ever a shared wall agreement?
Not that I
Because
was ever
that's
told.
been coming up too, and I'm just saying I've heard it. I
Not
don't
that
know what
I was ever told, no.
I don't know what it entails. I don't know anything about it,
I
and
could
it's
see
probably something that would have been
potentially
done.
inside, but I don't know about outside.
But that was probably something that had been done eons ago.
Yeah, not
And
that.
I don't
I'm-
know if
I've
you
been
had
there
that with
27
any-
years, and not that I've ever heard.
And I don't know if you'd have that with deed work or anything over the years. But like I said, if we
mean, I own
to
the
get it off
building, I
center,
don't-
we probably have to file a claim.
Yeah, I mean, I own the building. I don't know that there would be anything in the deed about that.
And I don't know either. I'm doing my weekend lawyering now. So
Yeah,
but,
I mean, I can check into
but
that.
I know that's come up in discussion.
Gotcha.
So like I said, if you want to get, they can do some reports on that.
Okay,
That
yeah.
gives them, and they'll probably have to come and do an inspection.
Yeah, I
Because
can get-
they're going to have to find out the root cause, the
Right, I
proximate
can get
cause.
copies to Kathy this week on the inspection.
Is everybody good with us turning in a formal claim?
Absolutely.
Everybody good?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Mary. Okay, any more public comment? We have a treasurer's report for January. Any comments or questions for the treasurer's report? None heard. Motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Anderson,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Delar. Miller,
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Barragry.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Next up is the ICOM 911 dispatch agreement, $162,397.90.
Question on that. What is the county paying again? Approximately.
I believe the county's 130 something.
And usually we
Kenny-
used to be equal on that. Scott, I don't know if you have anything to.
Kenny
offer
might
on
be able
that.
to speak to that.
We've usually been the same.
Were you talking to me, Scott, or that Scott? I didn't know who you were
You,
looking
Scott.
at. Okay, I was making sure.
County, I just went with county.
I've had some just basic discussions with Eric, and I really honestly, I couldn't explain it, so I asked him to come here that night. And I don't think he really painted that picture the way I would have preferred, because I think he danced around it a little bit. And I know there's been some significant problems with ICOM. I think Chief Byer can attest to that. So I don't, I don't know, maybe I'd defer that question to the chief. Should we
Well,
have some further discussions on this before we just blanketly sign?
And maybe just agree, hey, we'll pay what the county's paying.
Or let's have some discussions to see if we could get some things solidified before we agree to it.
Okay.
We should definitely maybe sit down, if you don't mind if I speak just for a second.
Please speak.
We should definitely sit down just a little bit and see where the $40,000 increase is coming from that we're paying for, and the other two major entities are not paying for within the county.
Okay, so you're saying the county is how much? 130 what? 130?
Estimated
It's in that range, 136,
something.
137.
Okay. So they're billing us 30,000 more than what the county's paying?
And then the other thing, and I'm just throwing this out there, when they have their CBA with their ICOM radio guys, I don't know what to call them, dispatchers, that's the word. We don't have any representation on that bargaining committee, and I think we should at least have 2 out of the 5.
Yeah, because right now the ETSB board, which is what, as you know, is a board that helps control dispatch. There's a representative basically from each facet within the county, PD, fire, and some EMS. With that being said, the city of Watseka only has one that being said, if we're gonna be paying this large a sum of money, there should be just a little bit more representation of what's going on.
But that representation is not actually officially city, right? It's more of NTSB or not NTSB, whatever board that is.
Correct. And what takes place with that, don't quote me on this, but a lot of that comes through the county.
Uh-huh.
I believe county, they can appoint and create more positions if need be. So I feel before we basically confirm this, I would probably table it for now, have further discussion, and then move forward from there.
And how should we address that with county and say, hey, you know, we might be willing to go the same as the other entities, or?
No, I'd recommend sitting down with the director, he's the one that creates the pricing, and then presents it to the board and county and so forth. So I think we should have a meeting if they want to with the ETSB board and possibly the director of dispatch.
And I think we should have the county's finance chair there.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably Doug Geiger.
Yes. Maybe get a little more clarification on exactly why we're paying that much more than everybody else in the county. Because there are a few things that are unsettling right now, and it doesn't feel like we have much of a voice for the amount that we're paying.
Well, and then the other thing, it's only a small line item for the folks that live out in the country and pay. They have fires too.
That's
I mean,
correct.
you don't pay for use, you pay for insurance to get somebody there to put out your fire.
Normally what takes place in most dispatch centers, they charge per call. So, depends on how many calls your department goes on, is how much you'll pay at the end of the year. Now, there might be a little bit of a base pay that you're gonna pay no matter what, but then every additional call after that is added on to the bill. That's how a lot of dispatch centers operate throughout the state of Illinois. In this county, most of the departments are only paying a flat fee of $1,200. That's it. So whether they run 50 calls or they run 200 calls, they're paying a flat fee of just $1,500.
And people in the rural
Now, you say
really aren't
most,
paying anything.
you're saying most of these, you mean other fire departments?
All the other fire departments in the county. Now, when you're taking at what the call volume is for the city of Watsika between police and fire, we run probably about the same amount of calls that Riverside runs throughout the county, to give you an idea, for comparison. Last I knew, I think Riverside was paying $30,000 or maybe $40,000, somewhere in there. Don't quote me directly, but it was
Right.
somewhere in there. I know they're gonna be getting negotiated also here eventually, but they kind of give you a reference of our call volume compared to someone else's call volume that's close to ours, to show you the difference in pay.
Like I said, people out in the country, it's not equitable as far as the people that are living in the city. Just my thoughts.
Now, are you counting calls that we go to that's out of the city limits?
Yeah, every time I do a report, our calls are anytime our tones go off. That's considered a call.
So
whether
there,
it's
but then
in-town-
people are not in our tax base.
Correct, yep, so a call's a call, and that's through Mavis agreement, so that works both directions. So, yeah, there's times, if we go to someone else, I mean, they're getting paid out obviously first, you know, then we come into play later. So, it's a call for us and it's a call for them, but with all of our calls, fire, the additional EMS that we're doing, and the police side, calls for service, as we call it, we're running about the same as what Riverside runs throughout the whole county, and that's just one entity. And they're
Okay,
paying-
you mentioned fire and police. What about the ambulance service that we're doing now?
So that's part of fire, we're one entity,
Okay,
we're not two separate entities. It's a branch within us, so like we have, if you really broke it down, we'd have like a boat division, we'd have a fire division, EMS division, prevention division. So those are all just divisions within the Watsika Fire Department.
I guess the only other thing is when you get called to a out of city limits fire, do most of the insurance companies have that coverage? When I was a claims adjuster, there was coverage up to, I
Yes.
forget, 1,000, 1,200 at the time. It's maybe more now.
So a lot of that is again covered within the Mavis agreements that we've signed, that we have contractual agreements throughout the state.
Okay.
So we are responsible for ourselves, just as if somebody was to come into our town, they are responsible for themselves.
Okay. I'm done asking my questions. I just think it should be equitable.
Could some of this difference be, Chief, because they dispatch also our public works and they don't any other town?
So the thing is with our public works right now, they don't do
that's a
any
good point.
dispatching. There's no radio.
But they do after hours.
They'll make a phone call.
They call
Yeah.
me directly.
Yeah. So, and that's
Is that making a difference in some of this?
It's no different than like, the townships or the county.
Okay.
State, same concept.
That's a good point, though. Bring up.
Okay, so we're gonna table this for now?
Yep.
Right?
Sounds like it.
Okay. Next item is 617 South Fifth Street, demolition bids. Everybody saw, 2 bids. There's 2 homes there. The front home is higher, bid because if you looked on the bid real close, there's an asbestos situation there with, I believe the shingles and the siding both have asbestos to deal with.
Yeah.
So that was, accelerated a little bit as far as the bid goes for that front house. The back house, which is half burnt down now, you see the bid for that. You see the low bid for both? Any discussion, any comments, recommendations?
I'll make the motion on the first one that we, accept Lee Farms Excavating, 16,500.
Okay. I'll second it. Roll call, please.
Biragre.
Aye.
Mensch.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Delar.
Aye.
Marcia.
Aye.
Anderson.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Okay, second house at the same location, the one that's half burnt down.
I'll make that motion.
Want to give
Okay.
the amount?
For Lee Excavating,
Yes.
10,780. I'll second that motion. Roll call.
The second one? Okay, 10,000, yep.
Anderson.
Aye.
Marcia.
Aye.
Delar.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Mensch.
Aye.
Biragre.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Okay. Next item, I asked to have this on the agenda. I contacted, actually ended up being 4 different real estate agents for our surplus property, including 100 West Walnut Street, which is the Opera House. I talked to 3 local real estate agents and 1 out of town. Sandy Boyer was willing to take us on for 6%. Rich Smith at 6%. Tim Williamson decided not to bid. Then I contacted Jeff Bennett with Macaulay Bennett Realty, actually Commercial Realty in Bourbonnais. And he said he is willing to take on. He's used to big properties like what the Opera House is. He said he'd be willing to take it on for a 3% listing. The good thing about Jeff Bennett is that company, he has a much larger base to work with as compared to just a local residential type of real estate. So he was very anxious to deal with it, talk about it. He'd be willing to come down here and speak to us if we need to about what his company can offer. I didn't know where you guys wanted to go with it. I know where I'd like to do is I'd like to offer it to Jeff Bennett to actually offer all of the surplus properties, not just the Opera House.
Hey, Scott, you said you got a couple. Would you be willing to talk to Jeff Bennett about the 2
I was
people
just
you
going
got?
to suggest I would like to have him come and address this group and give us direction on how we can do proper pricing of these lots instead of just, if he's got that expertise, he can give us a better idea of what kind of values that they may hold.
Absolutely.
So
He's a
think
commercial real estate agent.
Then
He's gonna-
let's table this for now. Have him come down here. We're under no hurry.
Yeah.
So let's let him come down and we'll give him some direction, and then he can come back again and he can give us an idea, or he can relay it through and we can make a decision sometime. But no, that's how this should be done. So
Okay.
I would rather have seen it actually go out for kind of bid. I don't know how we would do it, but if you've done that, then
I was just going to say,
it's kind of the same way.
I just
So
made phone calls. I didn't know
Good.
how else to do it.
But I think that if a commercial realtor is willing to give us his time and the like for a significantly lower rate, then we should take advantage of that. And if that's in his wheelhouse, then he should also be able to give us direction on, maybe we can get more than $1 for it.
Yeah. No
his-
value, no value was mentioned, anything like
Well, that's
that,
what I mean.
so.
Maybe he would have the
So,
ability to tell
yeah.
us, hey, why don't you start it at such and such, and we'll go
Absolutely.
from there, and,
Yep.
and he also would have a much larger, he'd have the ability to list it to a lot more people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
It's a
so,
much bigger pool.
so, I will recontact him if it's okay with the committee.
Yep.
And, move forward then on, okay. I had no transfers this month. Any comments, budget, finance, and audit? Oh. I did see that we got, I believe in your box, late, was for Clifton Larson Allen Audit Services. I believe that's gonna come up in full council. So everybody has a chance to look at it before full council. That will be voted upon at that time, right? Yeah. That's for the annual audit services. Okay. Any other comments for finance, legal, and audit?
Go ahead.
Dennis, you good? Brandon? Mayor?
Good.
Scott? Don?
Good.
Jenny? Scott?
Good for this evening, yes.
Okay. Motion to adjourn finance.
So
All in
moved.
favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it's 6:50. I'll call the Public Works, Water, Wastewater Committee meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Miller,
Aye.
Cahill,
Here.
Aye.
Mensch,
Here.
Baragry,
Here.
Marcier,
Here.
Rolfs, Anderson,
Here.
Delar. Here. Mayor,
Here.
8 present, 1 absent.
Okay, any public comment for Public Works? Okay. Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna go to the Public Works, Water, Wastewater Report. On the agenda, I'm gonna make a flip here, because Chief Byers gotta get going to another meeting.
We're playing in the ice, so I'm okay, take your time.
Well, we'll
Hey,
skip
Kenny?
to the bottom.
Okay.
We'll skip to equipment that way.
We're gonna
Okay.
go down to
Chief
number
can-
10, everyone.
Number 10.
10, number 10.
Yeah. So under equipment, I have 2 line items here. Chief Byer's been helping me with. We're looking at radios for Public Works. As the council's aware, we've had a lot of issues with cell phone outages in the last
Right.
2.5, 3 years. We've lost all communication between our own department, every other department, ICOM, everything else. So I can turn it over to Chief Byer. He's more of an expert with the radios, with some
Would you mind going up to
recommendations.
the podium? Because I'm sure nobody can hear you from the,
Plus,
from
we
that,
wanna
would you
see
mind?
Front and center, sorry.
sorry.
I can scoot over.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. So I've been speaking with Lauren a little bit. Kind of heard that they were talking about possibly putting CBs, I think, at one point in their vehicles. The problem you run into that is the range, obviously with CBs. But one of the things that we dug back is DPW used to have a radio system. We went back far enough and I found their old FCC license. So there actually are numbers attached to DPW. They have not been used for quite a while. One of the things that got brought up was, made mention to Lauren if we would want to bring him online with actual radios. The same radios that we use in the fire department, same as PD. Now with that being said, they won't be the high dollar ones. They'll work just as good. They just won't have some of the stuff that we have built into ours that we use, but they'll still work more than efficiently than what they would need for what they have on the street. What we're looking at would probably be about a total of $6,500. What that includes, that'd be 5 radios to get them going. Now these are Kenwoods, and we would go to the digital side. So they have the capabilities of digital and still analog. And what that means is, so for example, PD went to digital, the fire department's still on analog. but their radios will be able to communicate both ways, just like ours are with the fire department, and the same with PD. They can communicate both ways. And what we ran into, and unfortunately, if you look at the big picture here, besides the efficiency that they would have amongst themselves to be able to talk quickly to each other from anywhere in town, the main thing we run into is whenever we have a big event in this town, whether it be weather-related, floods, high winds, loss of power, even if we had like a train derailment, pray to God we never have that. But with that being said, all departments are going to be completely encompassed with the event that's going on in town. And the one thing that we lack right now is the ability to talk to DPW. And why is that important to us on the emergency side? Because one of the things we do have to communicate with DPW about, roadblocks, where the water's coming up, quick response, stuff like that. And how this did get brought up, because yes, our cell phones are good 99.9% of the time, but we have ran into in the last year and a half 3 times now where we've completely lost cell phones. Verizon and AT&T, it didn't matter who you were. Because come to find out, there's only one line coming into town to feed everything. So the problem we run into is if we lose cell phones, we have no ability to communicate with this other department within the city that is a resource to us in the event of a bigger emergency or a bigger event within the town. So Lauren was not disagreeing upon it. It would probably be a good idea. We could get his FCC license back up and running. That's about $100 last time I redid ours, and it's good for 10 years. We already have the channels. It's already in play. Now, the one question was asked is, well, can we talk to dispatch? Anything can be done in that aspect, and that's where the tabling of that price, maybe let's hold off to see where we're at with that for DPW, to include that into it. That might make more sense. But this would actually help all city resources. The other thing is because we'd put them on a repeater. That's why the price is a little bit higher. The repeater gives them the ability, if you have a vehicle at the far east side, they'd be able to talk to someone on the far west side. Even if it's as simple as if they have to do traffic control for a little bit until auxiliary gets there or state gets set up. But the biggest thing that we're looking at is with an additional repeater, that is a redundancy built in for the fire department and actually the police department. Because if one of our repeaters goes down right now, we don't have that ability to be interoperable because we have 2 separate repeaters. The repeater that we would get for DPW would work both sides. So again, that's also an issue right now. Yes, we have backup channels. We're very limited with that, and the communication breaks down very quickly. Communication's always been the biggest issue with any major event we've ever dealt with. I know a couple years ago we had the straight line winds. I don't know if you guys remember that. I'd never experienced anything like that, not in this town. We lost complete power throughout the whole town. And guess what? With that, we also lost some of our ability to communicate back and forth with each other. That kind of became an issue. One of the other big issues we ran into was the ability to directly make contact with DPW on the ground, because there was power lines and there was trees all over the place. So what we ran into was we were just taping things off, and the DPW was just going about doing things as they could, but they really weren't in on what we had come up with and discovered that was truly going on within the street. So these are some of the things we were talking about. And the digital side is the way that we would go with the Kenwoods. That's the future. That's what the PD went to. And I can account the PD's, that digital side does extremely good job for the price. Way better than the analog that we're using on the fire department side. But the reality of it is eventually when our repeater goes bad, guess what we're going to do? We're going to move to the digital side. The radios that we bought and everything we have now in place in our vehicles have the capabilities of doing both. The same thing as PD, and it's the same thing we'd hopefully like to do with DPW. So
it'll really improve our efficiency and safety. You know, we rely on cell phones. I have guys in trucks and equipment that I need to get a hold of. They're forced to answer their cell phones, or they're forced to pull up their phones, look for a contact, call Chief Douglas, Chief Byer, whatever the case may be. You know, these are great tools, but not when it comes to our line of work, when you're talking emergencies and traffic control and disasters. We have to get away from cell phones for our department to be able to join our other departments, to be able to work together
These
efficiently.
radios, would they be like what the police have, where it's anchored on them, or is this going to be a truck mounted?
We have a couple options we were looking at.
So the price will stay the same, I was telling Lauren, depending if he wants to go mobile or portable. So vehicle mounted, or if you want to actually have a radio. So they're the same price, just depends on which one you order.
Can you do a mix and match? For sure, supervisor should probably have a,
I'm almost thinking maybe a mixture of them.
okay.
I would if I was him.
And then, you know, with the portable ones, then you have the ability to move from truck to truck with it. Possibly the larger trucks having a mounted radio
Right.
in them. But, you know, it's back to safety to be able to communicate within our department and other departments without using cell phones. There's been complaints, and I get it. We're not supposed to be on cell phones. But when you're dealing with an emergency, even water main break, and I need to get a hold of somebody because we need an additional pump or another truck, you know, phones are ringing. You know, I need the equipment, I need the manpower, whatever the case may be. We don't always have time to stop and pull over and use cell phones. I get it, you know, and I'm not trying to sidestep the law because it is the law not to use cell phones. But when you're talking a town outage of water that affects the fire department as well, you know, we have to improve our communication abilities, and, you know, joining their radios, I think, is key. And I don't know why we got away from years ago,
I was
but
gonna
it
say,
sounds
this-
like we
this
had
should've
it
been
up till
done-
2014, so.
This should have been done years ago, so.
I think the old license expired in 2014, didn't it?
I think so if I go back and look. It's not hard to get renewed. We had to do the same thing with ours here this last year with the Mercy radio channel for the hospital. So it's not too tough.
So which, if we decide to go with this, what account line item would it come out of? And do you have room in your budget for it?
Well, I mean,
remember, I think.
we could pull some of that out of water and sewer.
Parks.
No, I'd say water and sewer.
Well, I mean, you can
It's gonna
take
be
this
used for-
through different departments,
We
Benny.
could take any out of water, sewer, street and alley, and capital.
I was gonna say, I would split it between the three: water,
Yeah.
sewer, streets, and alleys. Yes, we have the funds. I don't know exactly which line item I would pull it out of, but we have the funds. But if you split that three ways, you're talking 6,500. And then I would recommend every year moving forward
Yep.
to purchase a couple more radios to where we're fully staffed, you know, all our trucks or all our staff members have a radio. That way, Chief Byer, Chief Douglas, or the next chief don't have any issues. You know, if they're trying to get a hold of me to get a truck to set up barricades or help with traffic control, and I'm in the meeting with Keith or I can't always answer my phone, so they can put out, hey, is anybody on the west side available to help us? You know, it makes sense. So I would, like I said, this is a starting point. I would say we need to look at probably 2 radios a year until we have enough radios to cover either our trucks or staff.
You got these prices from who, Kelter?
Kelter, yep. So to give you an example, like, so we're using radios that are about $1,000. They have some features built into them, though, for the environments that we get into directly. One of the biggest reasons why our radios are a little bit more expensive is because the mic itself is designed for IDLH atmosphere. Basically, an atmosphere you can't survive in. They're designed for that. Those by themselves are expensive. So getting what they need that would fit their abilities out on the street, it cuts the radios down to about $6 to $6 1/4 a piece to kind of give you an idea.
Would that include the beefier microphone on the
No.
portable?
No.
No, it'd just be just a regular microphone, and it would work just fine.
Okay.
So that is where it can get very expensive.
Okay, you making a motion?
I'll make the motion that we move forward with that at 6,500 and pay for it, as we said.
I'll second it.
Kathy, if you would, please.
Anderson,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Delar. Aye. Miller,
Aye.
Cahill,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Barrigree,
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Okay. Before Chief leaves, we got one more item that's gonna be a Public Works Fire Department share.
So we've discussed a portable light tree for both departments and even possibly PD at times. You know, if they're looking for traffic control, if we have a power outage, it may come in handy even for that department. So, so this is a pull behind trailer It's a 8,000 kilowatt generator plus 6 LED lights. The one I have on here is a Bobcat PL80 light tower. Unfortunately, the one I'm suggesting I got after I sent everything in to Kathy this afternoon. It came, second bid came in late. It's a much heavier duty unit. It's still 8 kW. It's got 6 lights instead of 4. Again, LEDs. This is a metal enclosure, so it's a much heavier duty unit that's going to withstand the winds. It does go up higher. I think it's 28 feet versus 23 feet. This unit is $7,400 delivered to us. So there's some cost savings there, being it's delivered versus the Bobcat unit we'd have to go down to Champaign and pick up. Again, there's a lot of situations where Public Works, we're out in the middle of the night working on water main breaks. We need more lighting. It's been an issue in the past. We've leaned on the fire department, but their current truck, the light trees are on the truck. You can't always position a big fire truck where you need it to be to get lights, because you're in and out with a dump truck, equipment, things like that. And the last thing you want to be is parked on top of a hole with a fire truck. So this is a smaller unit, about half the size of this table as far as lengthwise. A pickup truck, even the Kubota side-by-side can move it around, position it wherever we need it. I think this is an item that we've been lacking
For a long time.
for a long time. Like I said, this could be used for any emergencies, whether it's a fire, you know, PD, whatnot.
Which is the heavier duty unit that's gonna work the best?
I was not able to get this information to you. I have it.
I mean, the quote that we have on the paper is 16,725.
Yeah, that's the Bobcat. So here's the.
Do you not want that one?
No, that's.
This is larger?
That's a larger unit, it's 7,400, 17,400. So what are you talking about, $700 more?
So the one that Lauren just passed out, it's a much beefier piece of equipment. And it's actually brighter. It goes up an additional 5 feet. It's a little bit heavier. That one can withstand up to 50-mile-an-hour winds being put up in the air, which is a pretty big deal. Because a lot of times if we're going to use it on our side, maybe not even so much DPW, but PD and fire side, it's going to be in inclement weather.
What's the
Price on that?
17,400 delivered?
What line items would that come out of?
That one there would come out of water, sewer, and streets and alleys as well.
And then
Okay.
Unless we want to pull it out of capital some of it out of capital equipment.
Well, it looks like the water department, if I look at the new equipment expenses, we budgeted 10,000, but right now, fiscal year to date, we're at 87,785.72. So we've over our budget by 777.8%. Where else did you say you wanted it to be from?
We could pull it out of sewer and streets and alleys, or we can pull it out of our capital equipment fund.
that's what I was going to ask, because it's going to be an all-city.
Shared equipment,
Yeah.
maybe there's just
Not
capital
affected by it.
equipment.
Capital.
Okay.
I mean, when it
It's
comes
either
to
that or you're pulling money out of the capital equipment to supplement in the water sewer, so
Yeah.
does it really matter at the end of the day?
Well, we've already in sewer, it looks like we budgeted 5,000 and we've spent $43,470.99. So I'm just, again, I just wanted to make sure that we're within budget and wherever we take it out from. So we're looking at capital, thank you.
equipment improvement.
I'll make the motion then, accept that bid. What'd you say, Lauren?
17,400 for the X-Smart.
And pay for out of
Light
capital
tower.
expense.
Second. Just real quick, Kenny, is this something, and Lauren, did you guys say that possibly all three of your budgets could afford portions of this, so it's not just coming out of Public Works, or?
So I got about a month left until my budget ends. I mean, obviously it's not till May, but I don't do anything past March, so everything can clear out come April. So we were going to come tonight to see what we were allowed to do possibly with the capital side, because it would meet the agreements of a capital purchase. And this would probably be a piece of equipment that we'd have for 30 years,
Oh,
if not
easily.
longer. And it is definitely a piece of equipment that we've talked about for the last few years quite a bit. And right now, I mean, I'm personally going over and getting the Mavis light tower to come over, which is technically, yes, we can use it. Am I maybe pushing the limits a little bit with it? Yeah, I am. But it's shown a need that there's definitely been more times than not that I could have got it even more to use over here. And I will say DPW, I could see as a safety factor where they could use it, especially working at night. Because I've stopped at their scenes and seen what's going on, and they're working in the dark. Yeah, they got some lights on the vehicles itself right in the immediate area. But you got hoses, stuff, there's water everywhere. This would help eliminate some of the trip hazards, myself personally, and the fire service, and Scott, and Benny, you guys can attest to this also, and Denny. It's horrible doing stuff in someone else's yard or somewhere else alongside the road in the dark. It's not enjoyable. It does become a trip hazard. It used to be a running joke that it's not a real fire until somebody falls or wipes out, because that usually happens every fire because you can't see. So lights definitely have helped that. And there's no reason for us to hurt ourselves if there's something we can do to help prevent that in the long run. That's just my 2
One morning
cents.
last week, I left town for work at 3:45 in the morning. Public Works was on Yon Avenue working with headlights down in a 6-foot hole.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Well, this expense may save us that much in what would be a workman's comp claim.
Yep.
So it's well worth every penny of it.
Agreed. Yep.
So,
Okay,
Nothing else, we got a motion second.
yep.
Miller,
Aye.
Cahill,
Aye.
Beargreen,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Marcier,
aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Thanks, chief.
Thank you.
Council,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, chief.
Okay, that was line 10, we're done.
Lauren will,
Yeah,
10 and 11.
no.
okay, Lauren will move back to, let me see,
Test
number
runs.
1.
Yeah, we'll skip back to the top again.
If anybody gets bored, we'll be jumping in a whole lot of time, so. Do an ice race.
Oh,
Too bad you didn't have a nice
Thanks,
big
Chief.
bright light to set up out there. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. I think I gave you guys my sheet, but that's all right. Let me just pull it up.
Here, you
So
want mine?
the first item is our test well. As you guys are aware, we did a test well over on, west side. We have a land agreement with this individual, and I received the land appraisal for this last week, and came back at $5,500. I talked to the landowner, and he was quite surprised with the size of the lot that's over there. I looked up on GIS and confirmed he paid $22,000 for that lot. He also stated that he had removed the buildings. I'm still waiting for confirmation on if that was removed before or after he purchased it. I don't know. And he's been paying taxes on this property every year. So I don't think he's going to want to move forward for $5,500 on this. I did confirm with King Car, it is at our discretion on what we offer for property. He did obviously say we don't want to just offer a ridiculous amount for a piece of property, but the $5,500 land appraisal seems a bit low. I recommend that we at least offer this gentleman what he purchased the land for at the $22,000. And I think that we can
Good.
justify that.
Can we partially buy that, or do we need the whole piece of property, or can it be subdivided?
Well, we need it for the setbacks,
Oh,
and especially if we're going to put a building up on there,
it's gonna be a building, right? Yeah.
Do you think you need a range from 22,000 up to 25 or something?
Well, I mean, obviously, we need to come up with something. This gentleman was supposed to call me back this week after he reviewed the appraisal. He was gonna speak with the company that did the appraisal as well to try to figure out why it came in so low, compared to what he purchased the land for. We obviously want the land.
Right.
We have to be fair to this gentleman.
Yeah.
We can tell that, you know, he's, you know, looking at county GIS, he's paid $22,000 for the lot and paying taxes. So, if we want to move forward with this well, I think we're gonna have to do something more than the $5,500 appraisal offer. And, I mean,
Do we wait for him to counter?
we could, or he could just laugh that off and not return my phone calls. I'm a little worried about that. I can reach back out to him and see if he has a counter for me, but he stated over the phone that he thought he had over $40,000 invested in this lot between buying it, clearing it, and paying taxes over the years. I don't think that's a fair amount to offer.
Part of the
Like,
thing is he won't be paying taxes anymore,
you know,
so.
so I think he's probably to the point where he's just ready to wash his hands of it, but I think he's at least looking to recoup most of his investment.
He had a sign out in front here a few months back, last year.
I thought for about
25,
25,000.
yes.
So like you said, you know, we could start with the 22,000 that
Let's
he
give you a
purchased the
range.
land for, or do we want to do 22 to 25,000? I just need something to be able to work with, or
You guys
if the
okay?
if the council doesn't want to move forward, period, then I need to know.
We need that well.
you know.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
we've
think
got-
we give him a range.
We've got too much in it already now.
Yeah. Yeah, we have, I think, about $50,000 invested in a test well already, so. But that is the council's decision on what we can,
Well, he was asking 25 last year. I would say not exceed that then.
Okay.
Did he pull it off the market? Is that,
no, it's still on the market.
okay.
I think the sign just got damaged by wind or
Yeah.
something.
Sign finally fell apart.
Oh, okay.
I think give him a range, so, I mean, we aren't spending money yet, so
So
should we
not
just
to
authorize
exceed, not to
Lauren?
exceed 25, we'll see where
Yeah,
he's comfortable, if we can get in
and
more.
he's getting a little return on his investment, so.
I was getting what he was asking.
Okay, 22 to 25.
Okay.
Everybody's good. Okay.
Yep.
Well 6, the building was removed today. NICOR removed the gas service finally. I believe we have the Florida jackhammer up, and then what we'll do is we'll dig down about 1.5 feet and cut and cap. The well's already been capped, but we'll cut it below grade to where we don't have a pipe sticking out of the ground for mowing. So that should be cleaned up this week. Distribution, no real movement on the radios. Water main valve exercising, that's for the most part complete. This will be an annual process. With time, I'm hoping this process speeds up. Obviously, we had to locate and raise a lot of valves this year, so I'm expecting that process to speed up every year that we do this. Lead service line inventory grant. As you guys are aware, that we sent out a third mailer. I sent information to the radio and the newspaper, and we posted information online to make people aware of what we're doing. Again, the EPA, it's a EPA requirement for us to investigate and identify what everybody's service line coming into their houses are. This is driven by the Flint, Michigan thing years ago on removing all lead service lines from houses. Again, this burden is put on the city to identify and remove from our water system. So it is a little bit of a burden, but again, people that don't want us to do the inspection have the option to participate and fill out the online survey and submit pictures of their water lines themselves. And then we will be coming back and excavating B boxes in the front yards, We have to identify our portion of the water line going up to the shut-off valve. So it's quite the burden put on all water companies, not just City of Waseca. This is across the U.S. So the grant for the water main extension on Elm Street, as you guys are aware, we only received the low interest loan. We need to break this. We talked about this last week. We need to break this into 3 phases and resubmit our IEPA permit. Right now, it's 1 permit for the whole project. We discussed Public Works doing this in-house, so we're going to need to break this into 3 phases. So we'll have a little bit of engineering cost and then resubmitting the permit. Looking at this breakdown, I want to start on the Brianna to Sycamore project with the 12-inch water main this summer. I've estimated the cost to be about $150,000 in material and restoration for Public Works to do this. If you were to outsource this, you're looking at closer to what, $600,000 if you were to outsource that portion of the project alone. So I would like approval to pull $150,000 out of our water fund to complete this project this summer. We are working on updated easement agreements that we need with some of these property owners along Elm Street. Once we obtain those, then we can move forward with the project, but there's still some delays, so I'm just giving everybody a heads up that we're probably gonna be pulling $150,000 out of our water funds for this. But again, we've raised rates for projects like this, so we do have funding available. We don't have it in our current budget, but we can always earmark those dollars May 1st and move forward with the project after that.
Well, it's better than spending 600,000, right?
That's the idea, having trained staff and adequate equipment to
That's
be
why
able
we
to
bought
do
the
these
equipment we
projects
did.
in-house, so.
That's right.
No movement on the North Street water main extension. Obviously, this is dependent on the well there that we just discussed. We've had 5 water main breaks in the last month, and it's spread out through the west side of town there. Our source water protection plan was emailed out to the IEPA. I have not gotten confirmation on approval on that yet. Water main projects on Belmont and 6th to Mulberry. The bid opening was today. I'm gonna let Keith give you the breakdown on that cost.
Yes, we bid it in 2 different ways. So the base bid was your traditional open cut installation, and the alternate bid was for directional drilling. Parts of it would still have to be open cut, especially at bends or connections. The base bid alternate for the open cut was $1,060,000. R&R bid only the main base bid alternate. They came in at $1,090,000. The alternate bid estimate was at $945,000. IPC came in at $792,000. In November, at the November 12th meeting, we had estimated that the project would be about $800,000, so they came in $8,000 under what we had estimated back in November, which is a good thing. The reason the estimates were higher now is there was no chance of going in a grass parkway along 6th Street because of the existing water and sanitary sewer. We either had to go under the road or under a sidewalk. This directional drill saves a lot of that from being restored, so that's why the directional drill cost came in lower. So we're recommending to move forward with the Iroquois paving bid for the alternate of $792,000 and change for the directional drill.
And this was the project out of that we earmarked out of TIF 3.
I was gonna say,
So we have funds that was deemed for this project that we had to use.
Right.
And this is to complete the 8-inch loop.
And just another basic question, just for educational. A loop is important, why?
Because you feed your water from both directions. So if you have a break in one location, you can isolate it. If you have a subdivision that only has one water main going in, if that breaks anywhere along that point, that entire area loses water.
And that's for some of the automatic candidates. It's very important. If we had more loops out here when the thing was hit in front of a Times Republic, and that got hit, drained the water towers, nothing flat. If we have a loop, that might.
We need more loops, we need more valves, we need to be, that's why I started the valve exercising program. We need to be able to isolate key points in town to be able to change the direction of water. You also increase capacity in your distribution systems, you increase, quality, you increase the water, you reduce the water hammering when you go from a large main down to a 4-inch. That's, whenever wells kick on and off, you see a pressure fluctuation, and that's some of the issues we see with water main breaks is there's a lot of dead ends, or, the loops go from an 8 or a 10-inch to a 4-inch water main. Well, when you see that water hammer, that's what creates breaks, improper sizing throughout our distribution system. So with a completed loop, you'll see less water hammers. You'd expect to see less breaks. And
So you
again,
hear loops, that means good.
so
So this, you said this was covered with TIF 3, right?
Correct.
TIF 3?
So looking back a few months, 6 months ago, we had to earmark the TIF 3, 4 funds.
Right.
And we earmarked those funds for a water main extension here, and then the road project along Belmont as well.
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid for 792,000, what? Whatever the odd amount was.
I've got it here, hold on.
572.40.
Yeah, 792, 572.40.
Yeah,
I'll second.
yeah. Bet.
Ready?
Yep.
Delar,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Barrigree,
Aye.
Cahill,
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Next item on my list is the wastewater treatment plant. Still waiting for the IEPA to give us our new NPDES permit to see exactly what changes we'll see on there. We've replaced all the plug valves for drying beds last month. We also replaced the RAS check valves down in the RAS pit last month. Those were 1998 valves that were all in poor shape, so Public Works and Water were able to team up and get those completed. I also provided a quote that is not a final quote. I see some issues with it. I'm still waiting for a response, but I actually provided 2 quotes. One from, you'll see Helm Mechanical for $126,000, and then another quote from MPI for $52,000. We have 3 slide gates at the wastewater plant that I believe, Keith, you got quotes on this back in February 18th of 2022, actually, just by chance, for $126,813 for Helm Mechanical to replace the 3 valves, 1 on top of the hill and 2 in junction box A. These 3 valves are critical valves. The one stops all the flow into the wastewater treatment plant. The other one controls the flow coming in from the east side of town, and then the one on top of the hill controls the flow coming from the west portion of town. We need to be able to operate these valves to control the amount of water coming into the wastewater plant during high flows to push water out to the first flush. We had operated the one isolating the east side of town, and when we went to open it back up, the valve broke. The stem came off the gate itself, which blocked all the flow coming into the plant from the east side of town. So pretty critical component there. We were able to get down in there. We were able to reattach it, get that valve open back up, but that valve is used quite a bit. These valves again are from the 80s or 90s, I don't know. They're all in pretty poor shape. Again, 4 years ago or 3 years ago, we got quotes on replacing these. The quote I got for just the valves is $52,178. That price is probably gonna be closer to the 60, because I want stainless steel frames. But again, Public Works, we can do this in-house. So the 126,000 3 years ago would probably be inflated by at least 10% if you were to go get that quote today. So, I mean, you're gonna save $60,000 or $70,000 by us doing the work in-house, and we're able to do this. But once I get an actual quote for the valves I want, I'm gonna come back in looking for approval on these. I think these need to be replaced sooner rather than later. If one of these valves breaks and drops and closes permanently, we're in trouble. So this just a heads up on some of the work I'm looking at doing at the wastewater treatment plant. That's critical and has been needed for many years, obviously. When we're looking at quotes, I think we didn't do this in 2022 because we were already looking at, I think, was $700,000 project on rehabbing the oxidation ditch and the clarifier valves and things like that. So I think we were just out of money 3 years ago on that project. So I think we need to revisit that, get the valves, and we can just do the work in-house to offset some of the costs.
So we know the price of the valving that you're talking about, and you're approximately.
Yeah.
We know that you're willing to do the work to offset that. We know we need these valves at any given time, all times.
And unfortunately, these valves aren't sitting on the shelf. These are all
Right.
custom made. So you're talking probably a month and a half, 2 months out to even see them.
Do
So-
we need this to come back to us, or can we consider this operations because we need this, we need these valves?
I feel it's more of an operations.
I
I
do
mean,
too.
these are critical valves.
And you've discussed the amounts with us,
You know.
and there might be some inflation or whatever the case may be, but to me, I think it's operations, and I think when you get to that point, you go.
It's
But
pretty obvious. It better
you
be,
guys correct me if I'm wrong.
no, it's critical. We better do it.
You know, and back to prior parties talking about replacing an entire wastewater plant at $30 million. We're rehabbing what we have and bringing it back up to 100% for small dollars compared to a $30 million wastewater plant.
The other thing
Right.
I've been told is if that plant can be moved up and take care of a good portion of
That
Kankakee,
plant
it's
is-
oversized for
That
what's
plant
in-
is built the same way to today's specs. I mean, that plant,
Yeah.
when they designed that, you know, in 1998, they were on the right track then. It's a good plant. We just have to replace these valves that are aging and failing like you would anything else.
So is everybody good with considering this operations? and-
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sanitary and storm, no real updates there. Just cleaning basins when the weather gives us a break. GIS mapping, still working forward on those. Next item 6, parks. Our Oslet grant, I had brought this up last month and I felt that it was quiet on the direction we're going. We still have not received the contracts for these grants, but I feel and would like to recommend that we hold a public meeting to get the public involved. We did a public meeting and we did some online, you know, discussions before we applied for this grant. A lot of people spoke up and asked for splash pads and different amenities. I feel that we need to give the public a chance to speak, knowing that what we have available to us and what we're looking at possibly spending in tax dollars, and give the public a chance to speak their mind.
There's a difference between a public hearing and a public meeting, right?
Yeah, the public hearings were a requirement of the Oslet application, and I think this meeting would be more to like garner support as to, does it all get done in 1 year? Do you spread it out in 2 years? If you do it in 2 years, what
think we're gonna have to
components
spread
do
it
you
out
do
in
first? the components all have to be done that were in the grant application. You can't say,
Either all or none, it's just a
Yeah.
matter of spreading it out, but I think we need to hear from the public if they wanna see, possibly $500,000 of tax dollars being spent toward a park, or do they wanna see $600,000 grant? To
Which
get
might
that
make it
stuff
tough
on.
to get future grants.
So,
I guess the one thing that, when you and I started talking about it and I talked to Kane Car, though it's kind of a unique situation, if we call in the bankers and stuff like that, there could be some financial support that could be done from outside funding for our share. Plus, part of this, there's a second grant for the workout area from the Blue Cross Blue Shield on the workout machines.
I think
So,
what was that 40,000?
40 or 50, it'll be dependent on final numbers.
and it seems with new people coming in, how are your schools? What's crime like? What do you guys do in town? And, and it seems like on some of the screenshots that I've been sent, well, we need more for our kids. Well, this would encompass more than just our kids. This would encompass, the splash pads more for the kids with the workout, the pickleball, the
All
sand
ages.
volleyball,
Well,
and concerts in the pavilion. I think there's a lot of,
that's the
A
one
lot of
thing I've
good.
always heard my entire life from people is there's nothing to do in town. There's nothing to do in town. So I think the more we can offer people in our parks, like you said, nothing entices people more than to move to
schools
a
could
town
hold
with good
tournaments, park
schools,
district could
good-
hold tournaments,
Yeah.
different groups could do concerts or plays.
But, I feel that with tax dollars, and it's been a big topic the last handful of months, I feel like the public needs to come in here and maybe even get some, economic development groups like, Angel Crawford in
Yep.
here
Yeah, we
to
talked
discuss how this will help our community. I think we need to get some more opinions in here to make sure that we're driving things in the right direction for our taxpayers.
So what do you think? Sometime in March?
Sooner the better, but yeah,
Probably.
I think we need to give everybody a month to make sure we can get this out, get the word out to the public, make sure people are aware that we are holding a meeting, what the meeting's about,
You want to try and do it in coordination with yours, so you're here anyway?
that or full council, it's
Or
up
full
to,
council?
albeit both, so it's whatever. I just wanna make sure we give plenty of time for the public to be aware of a meeting to discuss such a large grant and opportunities in our parks. I mean, we have $600,000 presented to us, I hate to see that.
Yeah.
get
Like I said, if
wasted.
we turn it down, it might be a long time before we see something else come our way.
We're not gonna need Joe here, are we, for that, for a full council? We don't.
Or maybe
need-
we can do it before and then Joe shows up when he shows up.
Do a 5:30.
Oh, before,
5:30
Yeah.
meeting.
before the full count, okay.
Yeah.
Just food for thought, I mean, I brought it up last month and it seemed like there wasn't a whole lot of movement, so I've been discussing this with many other people in the community, and the splash pad and the other amenities people really are excited about, and,
A lot of
One-
responses on the splash pad, which
Yeah.
is the more expensive item, but
Now, is you or Keith gonna do the PowerPoint on it?
Keith's the
Keith is?
PowerPoint guy.
I can point to the boards. I can bring handouts and
there you
whatever
go.
you guys want.
But yeah, we still have information to present. I mean, this has been sitting here. Unfortunately, we don't get a lot of public involvement on a normal meeting, but I feel if we get the word out that,
We do this and we can do special invites, like I said, to business leaders and stuff, but definitely the public will open it up as much as we can and go from there.
Okay.
They gotta participate, and show up.
sounds good. Who do you want handling putting together this public meeting? And me?
Be behind you all the way.
Okay. I'll work with Kathy. We'll get some stuff put
Pushing you
together,
towards the
yeah.
angry mob, huh?
So it's gonna be March 25th then, before full council.
Do we wanna do a 5:30 or 6 o'clock, or?
And let's keep that tentative because that might be my spring break and I might be going to see my first grandson, so. So would you be opposed if we bumped it up a week, just in case? Or the meeting can go on without me, I guess.
I don't think you can do it the week before.
Huh?
We got too much going on the week before. You got liquor committee meeting that night.
That's right.
Do we do just do it on Public Works? Is that what you're saying, or?
Well, she's saying we got too much.
It'd be before, full council.
It'll have to be before full council.
Full council would be better.
Okay.
There's one more week.
Well, your vacation's canceled, Mayor.
Yeah.
We need,
I don't know that whole
they say he ignored me on that. Okay, we'll work up some language and get some postings out there, and I'll reach out to the
I'll do what I
radio.
can with bankers and business
Just
people.
say
I got my
we'll-
old kitchen cabinet meetings.
Just say I'll reach out to Angel Crawford, and we'll get this out. Next item is streets. I still need to get the ordinance changed for the no parking on Fairman. That's completely my fault. That has just been delayed. It fell off my plate with everything else going on. Still waiting for the heat and recycle project to get finished up. We do have a pay item holding those funds, so we're expecting that fog coat to be reapplied come springtime.
And we have been in communication with the contractor over the winter. We have a meeting scheduled later this month, so it's not something that we've forgotten about, and contractor hasn't.
Was this a new sub that he had or something? That it went
Sub
this
was,
south?
the sub was just way over their head.
They're overextended. I mean,
Overexcited. They tried to get somebody else, local, Grosso Construction, does a lot of chip seal. They tried to get him to come in and finish it for them, and he was too busy, so.
they're aware it gave them a black eye, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yes, they know.
But maybe if he bids it, if we do decide to do more, you guys decide to do more, maybe insist on this Grosso, whoever.
Yeah.
And talking to the mayor of Gibson City, a lot of this seal and chip is with limestone.
Yep.
I could have swore he said that they do with a different material, and if you go over to Gibson, I mean, it looks like asphalt. With that wouldn't be, what the heck material was that? I don't know if I want to say granite, but
Not slag.
when he talked, I said, okay, well, that's limestone. He goes, no, it's something more, so. And his name is Dan Dickey. And his son is the weather guy on Channel 3.
Martin Avenue extension obviously has been on hold due to the weather. I know they were hoping to get out to dig the detention pond last week. That has not happened yet. I don't see
They
that.
moved some dirt, though. It looked like there was bigger mounds to me. but
I'm not aware.
Might be
I was homebound with a
spoils.
staph infection for
Yeah.
a month.
It might be spoils. The issue is if they start excavating and we get a wet spring, then whatever they excavate is going to be holding water, and then there'll be the argument, well, we have to haul more material out and bring more material in that's dry, and extra charges.
It's not worth pushing them because it's going to cost us more. So we just have to stay the course and wait for drier weather for them to get back on that project. And then we did receive the one bid today for the TIF 3 road projects, which include Belmont to Fairman, and the rest of Martin Avenue to the new extension. Keith can give you the cost. He's got it in front of him.
The estimate was $336,552. IPC came in a little higher than that at $351,826.20. Again, at that November 12th meeting, we had budgeted $352,000, so they are under what we had budgeted talked about at that November meeting. So $351,826.20.
That's what we budgeted with TIF?
We had 352 is what we discussed.
Okay.
So just skated under the amount we discussed.
And this project will go along with the other road projects, so
Same
that's
time.
talking with IPC yesterday and today. We agreed to hold off until they're paving the new extension to do the rest of this road work to save on mobilization fees. So that's what helped keep this cost down a little bit.
Yeah, and neither of the two projects we opened today can start before June 9th, possibly June 2nd, just because of school letting out. We want to make sure the schools are out before they start, because the water main project will actually turn off the service to the school when they switch it over to the new main. And then with all the student activity, you don't want surrounded by construction trucks and equipment.
Yeah,
But
I
if
think
we
get
start the
5
beginning of,
emergency days.
but if we start the
There's-
beginning of
yeah,
June, we're
5 or
gonna be
6.
well ahead of our normal schedule of paving and water work in November, so.
Yeah, they could probably start a week early. There's 6 days for emergency makeup days, but all the schools seem to do the remote learning now when there's an
Yeah.
emergency
You
day,
get
so
5 you'd
so
learn.
they don't have to use those up. So they could start a week earlier.
So what are you recommending?
I am recommending that we award this to Iroquois Paving for $351,826.20.
And again, we earmarked the TIF funds that had to be
TIF
used.
3-4.
And
Right.
that has to be used before December of 2025.
That Belmont Avenue from the high school down to Coney or Fairman, that's a whole
I'll make
lot
a
of
motion.
bad.
I'll make a motion that we accept the IPC bid for
351.
51,
826 and 20
826.
cents.
Second. Roll call.
Anderson,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Cahill, Mensch, Barry,
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Staffing still currently down 3 employees, need to hire 2. Probably gonna hit that hard soon. I've been receiving random applications. Unfortunately, no real experience. So just keeping you updated on where we are with staffing. Miscellaneous tree trimming, I'll start back up when weather breaks. The last item we've already discussed, so that's,
Do you need anything else covered with SCADA? Have you got everything covered with SCADA that you need for alarms?
SCADA.
SCADA, you need to order anything else for that?
No, and it's proving itself worthwhile. We had some issues on Heron Court over the weekend, and without alarms, we wouldn't have known until residents had issues in their houses. So we're able to catch the problems and respond before residents even know there's an issue with the lift station, things like that. So
Okay.
it's nice to have alarms on more than just a couple treatment plants now.
That's all I got.
Keith, I'm gonna jump back a little bit, back to that property where that well's at. Can ARPA money be used on that to purchase the ground?
The money was earmarked for well 12, so that will be part of well 12.
So it could be.
Yeah.
I
Good
don't see
thing.
why not.
Okay.
We'd have to modify the treasury site, because right now it was all set with Peerless, but, I mean, it should be able to do a modification. I'll look into it and see.
Okay. Okay, that all for you, Lauren?
That's everything I have.
Okay, anybody else got anything?
Well, I know it's unrelated, but I'm just gonna put it out there. We're talking, the last meeting of the month, we got a resignation letter everybody saw from, Lieutenant or Deputy Chief King. We have Mr. Douglas. We thought about maybe doing a cake and some stuff, and there'd be retirement badges, which the city's always picked up, and whatever plaques might be associated with that.
That's great.
So, if anybody has, some real hardship with that, I guess you can bring it up next week.
Anything else? Anybody? If not, motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, Kath, before you get out of here,